Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. So I'm officially back in Florence, Kentucky. I actually got in about 9 o'clock last night. There's a couple of people, like my brother and my grandmother, that I failed to let them know that I was back until like 10 p.m., but at least I let them know. So, I mean, I didn't let them know right away, obviously, but I didn't let them know. Well, how should I put this? I let my brother know about an hour later, and I also, um, how should I put this? I scheduled a text message from my grandmother for 8 in the morning the very next day. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, Katie is currently out of town for another 13 days. So that's who I was texting. She is taking her normal daily nap. I probably got about 9 hours of sleep, maybe more, maybe 10. So, and then I just had coffee, so I'm good to go. And yeah, I'm just very happy that I got this opportunity to take today off to sleep in and just kind of relax. I just went over to IHOP, and all I did was pay for a cup of coffee, literally, or a pot of coffee, really. And I had 2 cups, and I was good to go. And on top of that, I got to sleep. I got my tires checked for air. I got my glasses cleaned and adjusted again. So, and I will be leaving for Bible study about 5:40. I'm going to be working on my car and Katie's car this afternoon. So, yeah, I'm going to have a busy afternoon. But before I do any of that, I'm going to video call with Katie. And I already put the suitcase away. So, yeah. Oh, the reason why I didn't get around to letting everybody know I was home other than my parents right away is because I got so busy getting my room back in order. So I made my bed, and then I unpacked the suitcase and my laptop bag, put our Chromebook bag, put everything back. And before I knew it, it was already 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, now I can start getting ready for bed. And then about an hour later, I was already in bed. So I actually got about 9.5 hours of sleep last night because I was only up for like half an hour. And then I was like, oh, I'm getting tired. To me, that's a lot. And I already feel wide awake. The coffee definitely helped. I'm just one of those people. If I get a ton of sleep and then I turn around and have coffee afterwards, I'm good to go. But anyway, enough about all that. So, as you guys can clearly see on the YouTube channel title or the YouTube video title, I am celebrating 250 subscribers, and there's a reason why I hit 250 subscribers. So, if you guys were not aware, I was in Canada celebrating my 29th birthday, which I just turned 29 last Friday. So, my brother and I left last Wednesday evening. We stayed in the same motel we've been staying in for the past 3 years. And this, well, not 3 years in a row, but 3 consecutive years. So, 3 different years. 2019, 2020, and then finally 2022. 2019, we hit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for my very first time, but his second time on our way home back from Canada. We took I-75 all the way up to Canada, and we stayed with our Uncle Tom and Aunt Kathy the entire time we were up there. We celebrated my 26th birthday and my cousin Nicole's 19th birthday, something like that. or 20th birthday the entire time we were in Canada. And then we decided to take I-90 back and almost lost control of the car. And we drove just slightly past the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I had already done the research ahead of time. We stayed in a nearby motel. We stayed overnight. We woke up early the next morning, got some breakfast from the Continental Breakfast, and we drove to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We spent the entire day over there. And then we took I-71 all the way back home. And I liked the experience so much, I decided to come back the very next year. My brother thought it was a little too soon, but I'm actually glad we did come, because the following year in 2021, I decided to just keep it low key, and we decided to just stay home. We decided to go to Dave & Buster's and Red Robin. And then the following year, we decided to go see our grandmother for my first time in 4 years. And, well, he got to see her again, so he got very fortunate. I, unfortunately, got sick of a stomach virus back in May, so I didn't get to go. So this time, we decided, well, we're going to leave on Wednesday evening, and we stayed in the motel overnight, got up early the next morning, ate breakfast from the Continental Breakfast, and we spent, I would say, a good portion of the day over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to my grandmother's house at 7 o'clock, and then we stayed with her all the way until early Sunday afternoon, and then I just got back at 9 o'clock at night last night. And it only took forever because this time we got our bad weather on the way home versus, well, actually, that's kind of what happened about 3 years ago, too, if it comes down to it. Because last time we went back home from Canada about 3 years ago. We went to Canada last year, too, but the last time Jonathan and I just went to Canada and came home by ourselves, we had some really bad weather right around the same exact area. So the problem with Lake Erie is it has this really strange effect on all the surrounding cities. So I was not surprised in the slightest that it was raining ice. Yeah, it was raining ice. So my car is now unfortunately covered in salt because of this whole experience. So this was my second time traveling to Canada with my brother, but this was my third or fourth time YouTubing in Canada. We're going to go with third for now. So the very first time was about 5 years ago when I went and YouTubed in Toronto, Ontario, and then I YouTubed again last Christmas. So this was my third. I apologize. So, yeah, and then I went back to Canada last Christmas because I didn't YouTube in Canada back in 2019. But I did YouTube last Christmas. So last Christmas was a very boring vlog. It was mostly just driving around because the whole point of last Christmas was just to go see family. Now, this time my brother and I did get to go do some sightseeing. I did YouTube one time back in 2019, now that I think about it, so it was actually my fourth time. So I did get to YouTube one thing down back in 2019. Jonathan and I did do one sightseeing thing. And here's the funny thing. So back in 2019, just before we went back across the border, that's when we had the last bad snowstorm. I mean, this one was not as bad as the last one that we had to deal with. So Jonathan and I had no idea where to park on the slightest. I think we did a lot better this time around. So Jonathan and I parked at this sketchy motel, and I didn't realize I had accidentally parked in a snowbank. And I walked all the way with Jonathan all the way to Niagara Falls. We got there a lot easier that time, yes. And I did get to YouTube the falls all covered in snow and ice, so that was really neat. But then we came back and we're like, oh, crap, the car is stuck in a snowbank. So took us an hour just to get the car out. So yeah, that was fun. But at least we got Tim Hortons out of it. I mean, I paid for that, of course. But this time around, Jonathan and I did a lot more sightseeing because we figured, oh, we're obviously here to see our grandmother. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, we also are here to do some sightseeing too. So Friday, my birthday, is when we decided to go back to Niagara Falls. So I hadn't been in 3 years over to Niagara Falls anyway. So I YouTubed then, and then I did something for the first time in a long time. And I think between just these two videos alone is where I got my 2 additional subscribers. So between the Niagara Falls vlog that I did that afternoon and then going back to Mandarin, which is a Canadian exclusive Chinese buffet, that has already gone viral in just a couple of days. I mean, viral to me is like over 30 views in just a couple of days. I'm not a very big YouTuber yet, like in the sense that like I'm not very well known, but 250 to me is still a lot. And I'm still wanting to, grow my YouTube channel. So, please continue to spread the word about my YouTube channel because it's a very family-friendly YouTube channel. I would like to get to 1,000 eventually. I mean, it's taken me almost 6 years just to get this far, so I would like to continue to grow from here. So, yeah, Friday evening, my grandmother, my brother, and I went to Mandarin, and while I was waiting on my grandmother to get back from her last plate, I did a quick walk around of the buffet, and I YouTubed all the different foods that they had, and I threw in a bunch of pictures at the very end. Now, at the time, I was under the impression that it was illegal to film inside of Canadian establishments. And the reason why I thought this at the time is because about 5 years ago in St. Catharines, Ontario, I asked an employee at Tim Hortons, can I film inside of here? And they said, no, you cannot. It's not allowed. They made it sound like it was illegal. So I Google searched Canadian laws about filming, and according to their official website, it is actually legal to film inside of an establishment. And I was like, okay, so that was false information. So that's where I got where I put 2 and 2 together. So Tim Hortons, basically their privacy statement says they have the right to deny any kind of filming of any kind inside their establishment. So if you've ever considered filming inside of a Tim Hortons, not okay in the slightest. So I'm not even going to try to ever film in a Tim Hortons. I feel like Harvey's feels the same way. Your smaller fast food chains inside inside Canada, don't even try it. Your bigger ones like Mandarin or whatever, they're a little more lenient about it. I was extra careful when I was filming in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is a place I hadn't been to in 9 years. And that one has not gotten a lot of attention so far, which is kind of disappointing. And I've had that YouTube video up for about 2 days now. But anyway, so that one, I basically did most of my YouTubing outside. There were a couple of places I did YouTube inside of, like the food places, and even that I was extra careful not to physically point my phone at anybody. And when that one employee was talking to me in the first fudge shop we stopped into, I made sure that I was pointing my camera at my phone elsewhere so she wouldn't know I was actually filming her. And there's 2 reasons why I don't intentionally point my phone at somebody when I'm recording. The number one rule, of course, is you don't ever want to actually record somebody unless you have their consent, first of all. And secondly, I don't ever have a reason to record somebody unless it's useful for my YouTube channel. Like, if you've ever watched my YouTube channel enough, especially when I'm like at Kings Island, Walt Disney World, Universal, Legoland, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, anything like that, or even the Ark or the Creation Museum, you've noticed that I normally only YouTube people when they're in the background. Like they're just walking around, they're doing their thing, and then I don't mind physically pointing my camera at them because you're just background. And I like that kind of, I like people that are in the background, they're doing their thing. And then they get upset. They're like, oh no, like I'm in his way. It's like, no, I actually want you in my video because your background, you're blending in. It's not like I'm physically pointing my phone at you. Now, on the other hand, let's say I was at Jurassic World Velocicoaster and I stopped to talk to a team member and start asking questions. At that point, I would immediately stop recording because then I'm just having a one-on-one conversation, me and the team member. And then at that point, you're violating not just the park's rights, but the employees' rights by filming that particular person. Unless that person actually gives you permission to record them, you have to, by rights, stop recording. So you kind of see where I'm learning my techniques and all that. So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping that you guys can kind of understand why I do the things that I do. So that way you'll know for future reference by watching my future YouTube videos why I YouTube certain people and I don't YouTube certain people. I'll give you another example. Tonight I'm going to be beginning my Christmas light vlogging. And tonight I'm going to start over with Light Up the Fair at the Boone County Fairgrounds. No, I was originally planning on going alone, but my adopted little sister Ellie has expressed interest in joining me. She would be the only one that I would actually go out of my way. Sorry, I got distracted by something by AIG. Anyway, she would be the only one I would actually go out of my way to YouTube. Because Ellie does not mind being in my YouTube videos. Katie, I actually have to ask her for permission before I YouTube her. Katie does not mind as long as I don't do it too much. Now, she's out of town right now until the 27th. But even then, I still have to ask her for permission anytime I'm YouTubing. Like, even when I go to pick her up from the airport in 13 days, I still have to ask her for permission. Hey, is it okay if I YouTube you? TJ and K, I never had to ask them for permission. They never cared. Dell does not care. But I don't know if I'll ever see him again if it comes down to it. Vanita never cared. I don't think I'll ever see her again, but she never cared. I'm just, naming people that I've YouTubed. And, whenever I YouTube these people, it was only to, see positive things about them. And I just want you guys to know that. And any of you, guys from my past are watching this, I just want you guys to know the only reason why I even bring you up these days is because I just want you to know I only want the general public to know positive things about you guys. I did so many cool things with you guys in the past, and I just want you guys to be remembered for the amazing things we did in the past. It's unfortunate that, circumstances have worked out the way they are. And, I now have new people that are in my YouTube channel, but that doesn't mean that your past is ever going to be forgotten. And I mean the good things about the past. And, I'm always going to have those YouTube videos from the past up for people to go back and enjoy. And for you guys, for those of you who have been watching since day one, I want you guys to remember how the YouTube channel started and, how it's, gotten to this point, over the past 6 years. And I was reading online today on Facebook. you can't have a future unless you have a past. And that's the same thing with my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel cannot have a future unless it has a past. And I know, yes, my past, for my YouTube channel anyway, may not be the same as the present, but at the same time, the past of my YouTube channel is what makes my YouTube channel the way it is today, if that makes any sense. So in other words, the original intent of my YouTube channel was TJ and I started this YouTube channel 6 years ago together. And even though he may no longer be in my life, because we started the YouTube channel together, I'm always going to remember him. I'm always going to keep this YouTube channel in his legacy. I'm always going to remember that, we did things together. I'm always going to reminisce him. I'm always going to think about him. I'm always going to remember the good times that we had, especially at this YouTube channel. And I'm never going to see the theme parks the same way ever again, because a lot of the times I went to the theme parks, whether it was by myself or as a YouTuber, it was with him. And we made it special together. Unfortunately, our lives are just too different now. And that's okay. It really is okay. That's the best and most polite way to put it. My life does not have to be like his, and his life does not have to be like mine. I fully respect, how he has his life now. And you know what? My life with Katie is not the same way as everybody else's. Like, not everybody fully understands my relationship with Katie, for example. And you know what? That's okay, because as long as we're happy together, that's all that matters. And as long as we're, number one, glorifying God, then that's all that matters. So I just also wanted to, mention that as well. So unfortunately, there has been a slight change of plans for my YouTube channel this week. It's nothing major at all. So Wednesday evening, no matter what, I am still going to go YouTube the Christmas lights in Coney Island. What's changed now is the fact that I'm no longer going with Caitlin. So Caitlin, unfortunately, has a lot going on Wednesday evening. Wednesdays are generally bad days for her. And I didn't stop and think about that. I know originally she said she was able to go, and then unfortunately a lot happened. And then she was like, oh, no, I can't do it. And I'm glad that I reached out to her when I did, because she would have had to cancel on me at the last minute. And that, would have been a whole lot worse. So here's the good news. You guys still will get to see the Christmas lights, not just tonight, but on Wednesday night as well. 2 different sets. It will be 2 different nights. And I'll just have to go by myself on Wednesday, but at least I'll have Ellie join me tonight. So tonight I won't be alone, but Wednesday I will be. And I've decided that on Wednesday I'm just going to go straight after work to go YouTube the Christmas lights and then go home, which is fine. And that way I can just go home, have dinner, change my clothes into my regular clothes, play some video games, and then probably eventually go to bed and sleep until 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. And then Thursday evening, I'm not YouTubing at all, to my knowledge, but I will tell you guys this much. Caitlin and I are going to meet up in Walton, whether we're going to meet up at Katie's house or whether we're going to be at the Kroger about 5 minutes away. And I'm going to take her to Florence, so we're going to go to CC's. Then I'm going to take her to Grader's. I told her I can wait another day to go use my coupons. I'm not going to be like, no, I have to use on Wednesday. No, I have to do the YouTubing on Wednesday. But the coupons can wait. At least a day. I told her, yes, unfortunately, I have to use the coupons this week, but it does not have to be on Wednesday, so that's a good thing. So I am willing to wait another day to go use the coupons. And that way, I don't have to go by myself. So that way, she and I can just spend time together, and that way, I just pay for myself on Wednesday to go to Coney Island and go YouTube those Christmas lights, which are a lot more. and then I can just go home afterwards. And I'll probably be a little tired anyway, so I probably won't even want to do anything. Part of me kind of wants to take a nap right now because it's just been a crazy past 5 days, but I'm also looking at the time and I'm like, it's 1:38. I need to call Katie in a little bit, video call with her, and then I got about 3+ hours to get the car cleaned, or cars cleaned as well. I want to start with mine because I haven't cleaned my car in months, versus hers got done a little more recently than mine. Granted, hers has a lot more work to do, but mine hasn't been done a lot longer. So that's also why mine is a little bit more of a priority to me. And it's actually kind of warm outside right now compared to what it was just a couple of hours ago. And with her being out of town, I can't use the excuse, well, I just haven't had the time, because I really have not had the time. I'm being serious here. So, yeah, I mean, just, please be praying for her as she's out of town. Pray that this, her being out of town will have a positive impact on her. Pray that she won't miss me too much, or me miss her too much, or anything like that. And, I'm also just, super thankful for the fact that she and I get to, just focus on ourselves for a couple of weeks. And I also pray that, and I ask you guys to pray that this will have a positive impact on both of us. And I'm also super thankful for the fact that I just get to go YouTube for a little bit. Next Monday, I'm going to go YouTube the Festival of Lights. I'm going to skip out on Bible study that week because I'm really wanting to get to the Cincinnati Zoo early. Part of me wants to invite Ellie to go with me, but I think that particular day, I'm just going to go ahead and go by myself because it's going to cost too much to invite somebody to go with me. And honestly, I kind of want to just do that one by myself because I really just want to go for at least an hour or two, and that's it. Now, somebody else might want to go longer. I just want to go for at least an hour or two, and that's it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. So, my plan is to leave my house about 5:30 or so, get there about 6, and then hang out there until about 7, 8 o'clock, give or take. I will let them know ahead of time that I'm not going to be at Bible study. I'll just let them know, hey, I'm going to just skip Bible study tonight. I'm going to go YouTube the Festival of Lights at the Cincinnati Zoo. I made this decision like way in advance. I feel really bad about it, but at the same time, it's the only other day I have off next week. And I really wanted to make sure that I got this taken care of. So, yeah, otherwise, my next vlog after that is the following week after Katie gets home. And, of course, that will be my first AIG Answers in Genesis vlog of the year, and that will be at the Ark Encounter. Ironically, exactly 3 years after my very first Christmas time vlog. So my very first Christmas time vlog was Friday, November 30th, 2019, right at the beginning of COVID. And this is exactly 3 years later. So I might actually start that YouTube video a little differently. So obviously I'm going to film it normally, but I'm going to edit it a little differently. So I'm going to do, basically how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go let me start over. I'm going to be off that day anyway, and because I have a dentist appointment, so I'm going to film a completely separate clip on my Chromebook of the at least first few minutes of my 2019 or whatever Christmas time vlog, my very first one. And then I'm going to have that transition into my 2022 version. on the same exact day 3 years later. So that is my plan as of right now. Well, of that being said, I have officially hit the 30-minute mark. And I'm going to call Katie. And don't forget, my next big trip is Thursday, December 22nd through Monday, December 26th. I'm going to be heading down to Tennessee to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. I am staying in a cabin with my parents and my brother, Lord, Will, and Katie, as we celebrate our first Christmas together. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to be hitting up the Titanic Museum, Dollywood. We're going to be cutting down a Christmas tree again. We're going to be having Christmas dinner catered by Publix at the cabin we're going to be staying at. And we're going to be opening our Christmas presents there in the cabin. We're going to have a hot tub. We're going to have some games like pool and foosball. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this, going around looking at Christmas lights. If Katie does not go, I have a lot of YouTube footage I need to cover. Unfortunately, the Titanic Museum is not going to be featured as one of my Christmas time vlogs or Christmas vlogs at that time. And the only reason why is because the Titanic Museum has forbidden any kind of YouTubing or video recording in their museum. That includes Branson, Missouri as well. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. So, I'm just going to have to basically figure out where I can YouTube and when I can YouTube while I'm down there. But we have about 1 month, 8 days until I do leave again for another vacation. So, I'm going to keep you guys entertained and busy with other YouTube videos until my next big trip. And hopefully the YouTube videos I have until then and then that big trip will push me over 300 subscribers. So I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, which is tonight, by the way. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out.